En route to the drunken elf, the Blackhearts were suddenly accosted by Malachi Shadowblade and his mercenaries. Malachi, a lithe and menacing figure, brandished a magistrate's writ, declaring the Blackhearts criminals in the theft of the black sword of Lady Aricel.
Malachi demanded they hand over the sword or face the consequences. Faraday and Aurelian insisted that it couldn't possibly be the same blade, but upon their refusal, the Shadowblades unleashed an ambush. Malachi, true to his name, vanished and reappeared, striking Gideon and then Jacob with deadly precision. The huge man with the hammer traded blows with Gideon. Despite Aurelian's black blade piercing him several times, he still managed to land a few brutal hits on the barbarian. Crossbow bolts whizzed from upstairs windows on either side of the street, and more ambushes emerged. The Blackhearts noticed Horin was missing, just as one of the ambushers was thrown out of a window, landing dead in the street below. Faraday took a shot at Malachi, earning the mercenary captain's attention, and the pair exchanged blows almost too fast to see. Jacob, using his magic, held Gideon's assailant at bay, allowing Gideon to land several punishing strikes and daze his opponent with the pommel of Blackheart. Seizing the moment, Gideon called for a truce, holding a blade to the mercenary's throat. Malachi, not wishing to be outmaneuvered, attempted to do the same to Faraday, but the rogue parried the attempt, and the pair separated. Gideon explained that as his blade talked and contained the bard Aurelian, it couldn't possibly be the same that the Shadowblades were looking for. Malachi, confused, mentioned that he had heard of this bard at the tavern, the Moonlit Muse. Sensing his moment, Aurelian spoke up again, and after some back and forth, sang a song to convince a dubious Malachi. Despite appearances, Malachi still had the writ and warned that he would be the first of many to try and claim the bounty. He suggested they head to Magistrate Thorn to get to the bottom of it. There was still no sign of Horin. As they made their way to the trades ward, Malachi introduced his burly lieutenant as Garrick Ironfist. When they arrived at the magistrate's building in the Court of the White Bull, they explained the situation to Magistrate Thorn. Thorn examined the writ and admitted that, although penned in his hand, he had no memory of writing it. After some discussion, it became apparent that Malachi had no memory of receiving it either. Suspecting foul play, Thorn began a ritual to detect magic on the writ and sent summons for the alleged victim and an expert on magical weaponry. Detecting no magic on the writ, Thorn asked the Blackhearts to wait in an antechamber for the wounded party to arrive, providing them with some refreshments. The Blackhearts discussed their situation and concluded it must be Jim's doing. Unnervingly, they heard Jim's disembodied voice, stating how much fun this all was. Eventually, an older human lady in expensive clothing and a dwarf in tradesman's garb arrived. Introduced as Lady Aricel and Orin Ironhammer, Lady Aricel initially confirmed the theft, but, when questioned, couldn't recall reporting it. She believed it to be her blade, but noted the handle was different. All the while, Aurelian attempted to flirt with her. Orin examined the blade and declared that making such adjustments to a magical weapon would take both great craft and time, so it couldn't possibly be the same blade, much to the relief of the Blackhearts.
Magistrate Thorn permitted them to leave for now and stated that he might take this case to the Blackstaff, as it was beyond his ability to explain. As they left, they saw Malachi talking to some of the Shadowblades. He suggested they fought well and should consider joining his organization.